We are going live here. Smash Mouth Sports, we are live. I don't even have my microphone plugged in.
Wow. You're fired up, ready to go.
Cam, can you hear me?
Yes, sir. I can hear you.
I can hear you coming through good. Well, looks like you got in, right?
Yes, sir.
All right. Now, we're going live. So we are live right now. We are recording. So don't say anything crazy that would get kicked off 19 platforms. Now, I am going to first check and see if we're simultaneously on YouTube. Let me just check here.
All right.
Let me just check. You feel free to talk, so go ahead. Okay, hold on. Let's see here.
Oh, man. You must be excited, Preston. Your Bucks are in the playoffs. Tom Brady versus Chase Young. It's going to be a hell of a weekend, isn't it?
It is going to be a hell of a weekend. First of all, I got to see if we're recording here. That's the only thing I don't know. So this worked out well, better than last week, correct?
Oh, 100%.
All right, so we're going to free roll. It's not going to be our normal buttoned-up show. We normally have a buttoned-up show. We are so buttoned up. We're going to set this place on fire. I don't want to say anything on fire because it's not like anything's going on in the world of politics today. I tell you what, I've never been more thankful in my life that I was busy and had no free time today. Like not a minute for coffee. From 8 a.m. till 6:30, I was busy nonstop. No time for food, and I could not have been happier. I get home, I turn on the TV, I go, let's see what's going on Fox News. I see Capitol buildings, people are shot, and I'm thinking, what is going on over here? So, Cam, are you able to simultaneously? Because I'm trying to see if we're live. Oh, we are live. Here we go. So now this is cool. Our fans probably won't like this in the replay, but we really don't care right now. So I don't know if you can see it. So there we are live. So we are live.
Perfect.
We are live on YouTube right now. So we're gonna just keep. So let's tweet out. Let's both live tweet. Can you? I know you struggle with tweeting, Cam. Can you tweet and talk at the same time? We're gonna get on this thing. We're gonna see if we can get some people streaming. Let's see if we can get some people. See if we can get some people streaming. And you know what? I'm in such a wild, rambunctious mood tonight. You know, of course. Here we go. Okay, I think you downloaded whatever you were downloading, but let's see let me see if I can tweet this out. I'll share this on Twitter. There we go. So I'm sharing I shared it on my other Twitter. Okay, I've got like 19 Twitter accounts. So let me make sure I log into the right Twitter. Hold on.
More burners than Kevin Durant.
Yeah, exactly. No, these are not burners. I got rid of all these burners. I got rid of all the burners. There's the sports me. There's the business me. You know, there's all different parts. But here we go. Let's take a look here. Let's see if we can live tweet this out here. Live tweet. Here we go. The main Twitter. So let's tweet live here. Here we go. Let's see here. Join my live show. Okay. Here we go. So we got that going, Cam. So you know what? You're right. I am happy. Not at politics, not what's going on. We're not going to get into that unless, of course, the room gets overflowed with, hundreds and thousands of people, and they want to talk about the Capitol building burning. You pointed this out to me, Cam. We'll get into sports in a minute. Are you with me?
Yeah, let's do it.
So we'll get into some more sports in a minute. But I just tweeted this out. I want to give people a time to matriculate in and to come in. But this is the first live stream from Smash Mouth Sports. It just occurred to me that I did not put I don't think I put a thumbnail on it, but we'll figure that out later. We'll do that for the other show. So what's good about StreamYard, and I like it so far, we do our regular show, we end it, and then we still post that later tonight, tomorrow, whenever we get to it.
Correct.
So we kind of get 2 bites at the apple, which is what I like.
Yes, exactly.
So I'm hoping we get some more people popping in. Now, this is the first time we did this, so the main thing tonight, whether we get 500, 5,000, we're not worried about that. I'm getting some retweets there, which is good. So, but we're going to get into the BUCS, Cam. We're going to get into my team. I could not be happier with my team. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers are in the playoffs against the Washington football team. The Washington football team, you got your water, I got my water. I'll tell you who's going to need some water is going to be Chase Young. By the way, I'm involved in like 15, 20 different chat rooms, and people are going buck wild on about everything.
About him saying he wants Tom Brady?
Yeah, look, he's young. I get it. He's young. He's a top 2 draft pick. He's feeling himself. I get it. But what happens in this kind of a game is I get it. And I'm not taking the Washington team. I wish they had a better name so I could just say. When you have to explain 19 different names of the Washington football team, probably notice that, I mean, look, I want to be nice and respectful and this and that and the other. But at the same token, if they were just called the Reds, the Red Tails, the Red, whatever the name, whatever we vote, whatever the inner sanctum votes, we'll call them that name. Okay, but not having a nickname for broadcasting purposes is just horrible. If you're writing an article and you've got 1,000 words to kill, you can explain. You love explaining things.
Adam Schefter just refers to them as WFT.
Yeah, well, I call them the WTFs. That's what I call them. So before we get too deep into the BUCS, I do think Chase Young was absolutely crazy for his comments, and that's part of being young. Because if this Washington team gets beat 30-17, which is my prediction, I do believe
like a fool.
He's going to look like an idiot, and he's going to be like, "Oh yeah, that guy that I had on my poster, the guy that I was a fan of, the guy that about."
He was 1 year old when Brady got the job from Bledsoe. Exactly,
he was 1 year old, and we're going to get into the Patriots. Your team, don't worry, we got plenty of time. We're not going anywhere. Tonight's an experiment. I'm not worried about views. I'm not worried about hashtag. Or as Cobra Kai would say, I'm not worried about hash browns. I love, for those.
Yes, Sensei.
That's right. For those that have not watched Cobra Kai.
Oh, you got to watch it.
You've got to watch it. I'm so obsessed with that show. But what I was getting at earlier with Cobra Kai, 2 main characters, the colonel, the captain / colonel in the military, in the flashback scenes from the dojo, from the Cobra Kai, and also young Robbie. Both of those were 2 central characters on the Designated Survivor.
Correct. Yes, you're 100%. Yes.
And I bring that up. Because the whole show starts with the president dying, and this is horrible, but today we've got to talk about it.
It's on Netflix if you want to see it.
I'm telling you, I'm not trying to get into politics, but I'm telling you, I'm describing the show's plot line. They're the writers, not me. And this great show, Kiefer Sutherland, who is a fantastic guy. He's one of my favorite actors. He does such great, intense shows and movies and films. The premise of the show, he is the HUD secretary, a traditional middle-of-the-road, low-tier position, okay? And he's the designated survivor. Apparently, it actually is a real thing, which
it is.
Nobody knew, unless you're a political hawk, since forever. Nobody really knew about the designated survivor unless you're deeply ingrained in politics. The average person did not know about it.
Congress is gathered. There's one person in the cabinet who's in an undisclosed location, just in case that happens.
Correct. And so in this episode, as sick as it is, it's come full circle that the whole Capitol burns down. There's an act of terrorism, so on and so forth. The guy, if you haven't seen it now, I'm just going to spoil it. It's a
4-year-old show.
They've been off the air for 3 or 4 years. Yeah, they've been off the air for 3 or 4 years. So I hate those people that say, don't spoil it for me. What are you waiting on? I mean, look, I'll respect. If it's been 2 weeks, okay, I won't spoil a movie and a film or a show for 2 weeks.
Here, right.
For 2 weeks. So it just came out a couple of days. It's not even, but you got
There are people to this day who ask me not to spoil The Sopranos for them, so.
Okay, well, you're hanging around with the wrong people. They've been drinking too much, whatever. But what's interesting about the movie, hopefully, obviously, this doesn't happen in real life, but it's come full circle. This was a movie that the whole Capitol burns down, and if you watch the news today, you're like, ooh, things are getting rocky out there. Doesn't matter, Republican, Democrat. I don't want to see
the Capitol infrastructure.
The Capitol and all these shenanigans. We have gone to a different level. So we settle all that, Cam. So tell me, before we dive too deep, because I'm bringing up the point spreads right now. I haven't come to the studio in a week, and people got there's chairs all over the place, out of order, and people got markers. They arrest my damn Twitter handle. What is the nerve of these people? How dare they? How dare they? So I'm gonna arrest. What the heck? They got all kinds of wild, crazy things going on here. So tell me about the Patriots game. Let's hear your angry rant.
This season was an abject failure from start to finish. I mean, It was, to me, the absolute worst case scenario. They miss the playoffs, they're in the middle of the draft, and they don't have a quarterback. So, to me, that was just abject worst. I have no interest in being in the middle ground. Through 2 weeks, the way Cam Newton played the first 2 weeks of the year, I'm like, maybe we're onto something here. Let's see what happens. And then it went from there.
Yeah, I mean, look, I've never been let's see here. Oh, here we go. So, yeah. So, it's, you know, it's okay. Yeah, I had several tweets out. So, let's tweet this out. Let's see. Join now. Talking sports. Okay. So, we're trying this off. So, hopefully, you know, I've seen some YouTube videos, you know, a lot of these guys. So, sometimes you get people that jump right in. Let's just take a look at all the branding, everything else is good. So, yeah. So, no, this is good. I tell you what would be a good idea. We're not going to do this now, but I'll tell you what we could do is right now, if Greg Bedard or Matt McCarthy or, you know, my guy Aaron, you know, wants to call in, you know, they could call. We're not going to take them right now, but if they wanted to, that's the beauty of this, Cam. We could link them right now. Get them right in. Get them going. Seamless and stream. Let's see here. Expand this. Okay, there we go. Expanded it. So, but so yeah, so we're going live with StreamYard. I absolutely love it. Let's see. So yeah, we got things rocking and rolling. We retweeted this out, and now let's talk about the Patriots because we upset the Jacksonville Jaguars fans.
Oh yes, we did.
You know. And you know what's funny, and I hate to say it, and I'm doubling down on it.
We have two fan bases who hate us now, Jaguars fans and Browns fans.
Right. And so maybe we have to pick, you know, maybe we should just leave it at 2 fan bases, and maybe we shouldn't go through all 32. But the point is, maybe we just, you know, we'll stick with the BUCS and this and that, stick with the Patriots. Although you're pretty upset at the Patriots fans. You've upset some Patriots fans, too, with some of your comments, Cam. Now, here is the $1 question. We talked a little bit about this last night. Okay? What we talked about was the Patriots, and and here's what we did. And of course, somebody, do I have my notes here? Let's see. Let's see if I've got my notes here. I hope I have my notes here. If I don't have my notes here, we're going to have a serious problem. Well, go ahead. We were talking about, I don't have my notes here, but what we talked about, which is what I do want to get into, and I don't know how somebody could have possibly stolen my notes here, but it must have been some crazy situations going on. But either way, people look at the draft. So you say to me, oh, Justin Fields. If Justin Fields falls to me, I got to take him. Now, if you're the Patriots, of course you take Justin Fields if he falls to you way down at 15. But I'm going to bring up the draft order right now. Let's see if we can bring up the draft order.
Right, because the teams that missed the playoffs, obviously we know where they're picking now. Correct.
We know where they're picking. We know the Jacksonville Jaguars, and here's why I said.
And Trevor Lawrence did declare for the draft today.
Right. You were worried. 2 days ago, you were worried. You're like, oh my God, it's been 3 days. Okay.
He just lost the biggest game of his life. You're right.
He lost the biggest game of his life. For those that I know, Trevor Lawrence is a good traditional Christian conservative guy. And, you know, I say this to my mom, you know, thinks that, you know, when she had roofers go to the roof and they had these big tree. And then I said to myself, oh, let's go easy on I hope the drunken rednecks don't, you know, go too crazy. And I hope they're not too liquored up. She goes, oh, no, they wouldn't drink. I was like, yeah, you're probably right. Because guys that climb 50 and 70-foot trees for a living and swing chainsaws, those guys are stone cold sober. That's what normal people do. Yeah, of course they're drinking. It's like, you know, one of the things Cowherd talks about is about being buttoned up. It's true. What I will say,
time and place matter.
Let me say this, and we're going to get into Chase Young. We're going to get into the Patriots. We're going to get into the draft. But here's what I want to say about time and place matters. And you're right. He talked about this
with Carson Wentz.
Well, not just with Carson Wentz, but what I was getting at was more with your guy at the Bleacher Report. What's his name? What's your guy? I'm sorry, not the Bleacher Report. Barstool. What's your guy?
Oh, Dave Portnoy. Yep.
Dave Portnoy. For some reason, I can never remember his last name. It's a very unique name. He's a great guy. I love Dave Portnoy. He's doing great things for small businesses.
Yes.
Which is why we're going to roll out Smash the Tax pretty soon. Those T-shirts are coming. But what I was getting at is, so he eats wings, drinks beer, nachos when he's doing some of his podcasts with his guys, with his frat guys, right? And that's great. And they argue about the BUCS and the Patriots and so forth, you know, kind of like we do. But What's interesting is he'll wear a polo. You couldn't tell the difference between him and Mark Zuckerberg. He'll show up unshaven, looking like Mark Zuckerberg, podcast that goes out to millions of people. But when he went to visit the president, love him or hate him, Donald Trump, he wore his tie, and he even FaceTimed his dad.
Correct.
That is what it's about. So if somehow we make it through these next 4 hours, and we're not doing a 4-hour show. I'm talking about us as America. We make it through these 4 hours. If nothing crazy happens,
if we wake up in the morning, right?
It's 4 hours, and we still have America tomorrow. Then everything should be
the
should
capital
be
is back under control.
Right. The capital's back in control. So we got a lot of topics. So, but too many people, and I'm going to bring up two things. I'm bringing up. By the way, the team that I love, the Buffalo Bills, are only 6.5-point favorites, Cam, over the Colts. Tell me, what do you think about that?
I mean, that doesn't really surprise me because
that surprises me.
The Colts have a very good defense.
Okay.
And defense travels.
It used to.
But I like Buffalo in this game. I don't know if I like them to cover, but I like them to win because I think A, they're a better team, B, they're better coached, C, they have a massive advantage at quarterback. I mean, Josh Allen is the real deal. And this is their first home playoff game since 1995. There will be fans in the stands. New York Governor Andrew Cuomo has given the Bills permission to have a certain amount of fans in the stadium for Saturday, which is great for them to finally see this game. There's no way the Bills are going to let this down. Josh Allen's just too good. The Bills are too good. They're going to win this game.
Let me ask you this question. You said the Colts have had a good defense, and at times this defense, I've never seen a defense in modern day recently that is so bipolar and so driven by one player. It's all DeForest Buckner. If DeForest Buckner comes in there, gets 2 or 3 sacks, 4 or 5 tackles for loss, disrupts the game completely, they have a good chance to win. If he does not dominate, if the offensive line contains DeForest Buckner, the Colts have no shot. I've seen it in every game. The Colts are the same team that beat who was their biggest win of the season? Remind me who their biggest win was. I know their biggest loss.
Didn't they beat Baltimore?
I believe they did beat Baltimore, and I believe they beat Baltimore early when Baltimore was kind of hammering some teams.
Correct. Yes.
I believe that. I don't have the score here. We'll bring that up later. But they smacked around Baltimore. And also, in addition,
I think they beat Green Bay too.
That's what it was. That was the win I was thinking about. It wasn't Baltimore. They beat Baltimore, but they beat Green Bay because Green Bay was up, I want to say 24-7, if I'm not mistaken, maybe even 24-3. And they came back. And
then Devontae Adams fumbled in overtime, and the Colts won the game. Correct.
Right. Was it Devontae Adams or was it Marquez Scantling?
No, it was Devontae Scantling. You're right.
Yeah, because Devontae Adams, somebody on this show told me how great Devontae Adams was, and I'm not talking about myself. So,
he's a great player.
He is a great player. You know, some of these guys are coming around. We're talking about buttoned up. We're talking about this guy. We're talking about that guy. So let's take a look here. Let's bring it up. We're going to get into the mock draft, but here's why the Patriots fans, the Jaguars. Oh, here we go. Here's your boy. By the way, I brought up your Tankathon website. We'll see how that goes. I was like, I'm going to skip that. I'm going to go. The guy that not a lot of people reference, but I actually love is Walter Football. I don't know who Walter Football is, but Walter Football has a fantastic website. He's always got accurate mock drafts ready to go. Right?
Right, absolutely. Maybe it's Walter Payton's family.
Yeah, that's definitely not. But let's take a look here. I'm gonna find a more well for on. It's a great website, but for on air purposes, I need something I can rattle off here. So I've got the order here to rattle off, but for some reason your Tankathon website, it doesn't give a mock draft. It just gives the order. We all know Jacksonville is number 1, but here is what I want to get into. Okay,
let's hear it.
What I want to get into is with the Tankathon and the whole thing here is the Jaguars have the number 1 pick. Trevor Lawrence is the projected first-round pick. No, I'm not worried that he lost, and no, I do not give Justin Fields any bonus points. None. He gets no bonus points for beating Clemson. To me, he will get bonus points
if he beats Alabama.
Yes. If he beats Alabama, then you could say, okay, he beat everybody that he was put in front of. He won a national championship if he beats Alabama. But if he doesn't beat Alabama and he loses 35-20, 35-30, whatever the score is, I don't want to hear it because Clemson's defense, they've been great for 3 years. Their team's been great for 3 or 4 years. Their defense has been terrible. It's been all Trevor Lawrence carrying that team.
Oh, 100%. No, Trevor Lawrence, I mean, he's been the one they had that great team that they won with 2 years ago. The championship team was
correct.
Yeah. But since then, it's been all Trevor Lawrence, and that's no rip of him whatsoever. The fact that he's only lost 2 games because he didn't play that Notre Dame game. The fact that he's only lost 2 games with a lackadaisical defense and not a great people around him on offense is a massive tip of the cap to him. And for Clemson to go from Deshaun Watson to Trevor Lawrence, the next guy's got some big shoes to fill.
No, you're 100% right. And I'm telling you right now, I got to be honest, I was a big fan of Dabo Swinney. There's a lot of people for a short period of time, and by short period of time, I mean basically these last 2 or 3 years, where they were saying that he's a better coach than Nick Saban, and he's just not.
No.
What Dabo is, Dabo's a better salesman than Nick Saban. He's a better salesman.
He's a better recruiter,
So he's a better recruiter coming in. Hey, I'm going to take
He's a more gentle guy, right?
He's a more, he's a big braggadocious guy, but not, sometimes lately he's been overly braggadocious. But what I mean with, Nick Saban is, he's Bill Belichick. I mean, he is Bill Belichick. He comes in, he's tough, he's stern, he's disciplined. But the same thing that makes Belichick great is the same thing that makes Nick Saban great. They show up early, 5 a.m. They got their notepad. Okay, they got their notepad. They're buttoned up. They're ready to go. They're all business. Okay, and look, you may not like those guys, but I can respect those guys. I can respect the guy that's buttoned up. Where Dabo is a little bit of a overselling. Okay, I'm gonna take care of you, young man, and I'm gonna build them championships. But lately, these last 2 years, he's been getting in all these political. Just stay out of all that, man. And I gotta say, when he said. If they ever pay college athletes, he's leaving. He has overstepped his boundaries and he has overstepped his worth.
So you're saying you can only coach if you own the players, basically?
Right. So you're saying you can only coach 18 and 19-year-old kids
if you have all the power.
If you have all the power. So if I'm getting $10 million and I got 53 guys that make zero money, and they have to do what I say, or I can fire them. By fire them, I mean cut them, take away their scholarship. Yeah. And then these young men, 18, 19 years old, have got to go to, HCC, some random junior college that nobody's heard of. Appalachian State University, whatever, some random, school. I think it's kind of crazy. So he's becoming exposed. As it turns out, he is a good coach. I'm not taking that away from him, but as it turns out, he's a better recruiter than he is a great coach. Because what's going to happen is he's not always going to get every 3 years. He's not always going to get Trevor Lawrence and Deshaun Watson back to back. It doesn't work that way to get elite quarterbacks like that back to back. That just does not happen.
No, 2 national champions. No, absolutely not.
What Nick Saban does, he recruits well, but he wins national championships with a Jalen Hurts, with a Tua, with a Max Jones, with a this guy, with a that guy. That's okay to somewhat pretty good, but not at the NFL level, not elite.
Correct. No, that's 100% true. Correct. 100%.
Yeah. So we're rocking and rolling. We're 23 minutes in live of this. Let me do this. Let's see if we get some more tweets out. How do you think this is going so far, Cam? You rolling with this?
It's going great. Yeah, absolutely.
You excited?
Yeah, absolutely.
Live with StreamYard. So we're trying out new things. You're feeling good. So while I've got the spreads here, we'll get into the spreads in a minute. By the way, I do think the Bills are going to beat the Colts. I do think they're going to cover the 6.5 because I think this Bills team, and I got to be honest. Oh, I already sent that tweet. Cowherd was the first. One thing I give Cowherd credit for, and this is why he's at that level, he's not afraid to be the first one on the island.
And sometimes it blows up in his face, but sometimes he hits it.
Sometimes it blows up. Okay, so sometimes it blows up. Okay, like early in the season, he was the first one to say that the Patriots were a top 3 or 4 team. Okay, when they were 2-1, and they did look really good. That blew up in his face. He was the first person to say the Buccaneers were the number 1 overall team. It looked great for a while, then it downslipped. Now it's coming back up again because the Buccaneers
are getting hot at the right time. And I know my Bucs fans, I've got to calm them down because they are ready to storm the Capitol as well. They're ready to storm Raymond James because Mike Evans got injured. And yes, that's a tragic loss, and that's unfortunate. But at the end of the day,
Brady and Mike Evans never had good chemistry. Never. Both Chris Godwin and Antonio Brown, they played nice games. They had better yards per game. So better per game. So Evans, 1,000 yards, set the touchdown record for Buccaneers. 13 touchdowns, set the record. He broke his own record. He's a touchdown machine. He's great at that. But as far as running precise routes, Antonio Brown and Chris Godwin, they're more shifty. They run the route tree a little bit better. They don't have the size, a 6'4" size, but they are more precise, which is what works well with Tom Brady. And that's
100%.
what it's about.
No, 100%. And when it comes to your game against the Washington football team this week, I do expect you to win. Do you have the spread up now?
Oh, yeah, we've got it up. We've got the spread up. What do you? Let's do this. Let's play a little game. What's called – now, it's in Washington, as we all know.
So Washington gets 3 points for being at home.
What do you think the line is? What would you guess?
I'm going to say that you guys are 10-point favorites.
That's a good one. Bucks are 8-point favorites. The over-under is 45. If I were to say bet the house, I'd say bet the over. The only way that the over is not covered is if the Bucks win 30-10 or 30-7, which could happen. That could happen. But I would say more than likely bet the over. The Bucks are 8-point favorites. You talk about the 3 points, they're realistically 11 or 12-point favorites, as far, in my opinion, realistically, because the only thing that is saving Washington, the only thing is their defense. Their running game is not that good, with Gibson being banged up. Their passing game is minor league.
I mean, we all respect what Alex Smith has come back from, but I agree,
right. I mean, he's a paper cut. I mean, Alex Smith will complete 25 passes and he
50 yards,
and he will not even break 150, 170 yards. Like he literally will go 25. It would not surprise me if his stat line is this: 25 for 29 for 182 yards passing, no touchdowns, 1 interception. Like he literally will throw 2 and 2 and 2 and 2 and 2. That's what he's been. He's not going to lose you the game.
Both San Francisco and Kansas City, he was always it's always like a million guys in motion.
Right.
That check down 4-yard game.
Right. Exactly. So let me send out another tweet. Let's send out one more tweet. Let's see what's going on here. Let's take a look here. Let's see. Where is Twitter? So we already sent that tweet. There we go, of course. So live tweet. Let's get it live. Live tweet. So, but yeah, Tom Brady. But here's the thing. So look, I told. By the way, I told you preseason. You told me. I'm not saying this through the bus. You told me preseason. We were asking who's the worst team. I said Jets, Jaguars, maybe Detroit. If Matt Stafford doesn't, those were my 3 worst teams. And Correct. You said Washington is definitely the worst team, or at least the bottom 2. I'm like, no. I said it doesn't matter their offense. I said Dwayne Haskins, it doesn't matter Dwayne Haskins. Nobody thought Alex Smith was going to come back. I said
no, but you pumped up that defense. Yes. I
said if you look at that defense, look at their front 7.
Duron
you got
Payne,
Adam Kerrigan on one side. You've got Chase Young on the other. Those are MAC defensive ends. You got Payne. You got LaRon Payne in the middle. Okay. You also got your other guy out of Alabama. What's his name? His name's close to me right now. You know what I'm talking about?
Montez Sweat.
Montez Sweat's another guy. He's an edge rusher coming off the edge. So that team. Let me bring up their front 4 and their front 7. But they have a great front 7. Now, this Washington team would have been a team that in years past they would have been a lot more formidable than they are.
Correct.
And because they have a great defense. So, but at the end of the day, in today's NFL, it really doesn't matter. I hate to say it doesn't matter, but it really doesn't matter.
No, we saw it last year with the Kansas City. As long as your defense isn't horrible. If it's horrible, then it's going to come back to bite you. If you're giving up 28, 30 points a game on a regular basis, it's eventually going to bite you in the butt. But if you're just adequate, average, you'll be fine. That's what
Jonathan Allen. I can't believe I forgot my favorite guy from a couple years ago, Jonathan Allen. So this is what I'm talking about. The front 4, Chase Young, Ohio State, elite. Jonathan Allen, Alabama, elite. Duron Payne, D tackle, Alabama, elite. Okay? And then Montez Sweat, it doesn't jump out at me where he came from, another edge rusher. And you also got Ryan Kerrigan as an outside linebacker / edge rusher. They rotate Ryan Kerrigan and Montez Sweat around. In fact, let's look it up here. And their corners, they got Kendall Fuller, who's been a little bit banged up, and some of the other guys, Ronald Darby. Let's take a look here. I want to say he was from Texas A&M. I'm going to have it up in a second here. He is from, let's see, Mississippi State. I missed that one. He was from Mississippi State, right?
Correct.
So, we've gone on for about 30 minutes on this one. I am going to end this one, and then we're gonna bring it right back in 2 minutes.
Sounds good. Smash
Mouth Sports. Like and subscribe to the channel at Smash TV Radio. See ya.